Hello and welcome back to the Filipino Joe. Today we are going to talk about the cheapest, safest place to move to and live here on our beautiful earth. That would be the Philippines. When you move to a new country, it doesn't matter what country you move to. You're always going to trade your good and bad at home for good and bad there. It's going to be different, not the same thing. Let me just give you a quick example. You can walk around here anywhere in the Philippines and chances are you're going to be around a lot of people, even if you're out in the countryside. When you're walking, you do need to realize that you do not have the right-of-way here. In a lot of Western countries, you have the right-of-way. If you step out in front of a vehicle, it will stop. That's not necessarily true here, so you need to be very careful when you're walking around, especially in the city. You'll be very surprised that you'll be walking down the street and a car will pull out right in front of you because you do not have the right-of-way. And that's what you're doing when you move to a foreign country. You're basically trading off. The bads that you didn't like back home might not exist here. Isn't that great? I know that it's much safer here in the Philippines than back home in my home country of the United States. I feel wonderfully safe here in the city and I don't have any problems walking around. I went to another country. I'm not going to name names, but in that country, you could not walk around so easily. They would tell you don't carry anything because somebody will grab it. So today what I want to talk to you about is how cheap it is here to live. A lot of the information that you find on YouTube is not necessarily accurate. That's not because people are trying to give you bad information. It's because they may not really understand what the definition of the information is that they're giving. Like they will call it a cost of living when it's actually a little more than that. It's their cost of living plus all of their fun things they like to do. When you give somebody a cost of living, you need to break it down to the basics, like the rent. How much are you paying for the food? And not for going out and eating pizza every night at the most expensive place in town, right? What's the basic cost of food? Okay. You can see here on this livingcost.org, this website says that the cost of living here in the Philippines is $615 a month on average. And for the United States, it's saying that it's $2,454 per month. Now, a lot of you may say, oh no, it's a lot more than that, right? I know the cost of everything is skyrocketing there. And that may be why you're thinking about getting the heck out of there. Well, here's a really good thing for you to know. My cost of living here in the Philippines is only $250 a month. Now, I'm going to go over some things here on this video, but I also have two other videos that if you're interested in moving to the Philippines and getting a low cost of living, that I highly recommend watching. One is called Rich Filipino, Poor Americano. It really tells you about the differences between America and the Philippines when it comes to your money. That's a really important video. I also have two more videos about my cost of living here. One is my true cost of living, $250 a month video. And then equally important is the question and answer video that goes with that video. So both of those are really important to watch if you're thinking about moving here to the Philippines, because I got a lot of questions and I answered those in a separate video after the first video. The first video went viral. 11,000 views on a video for me is viral. And that video is still doing very well. My cost of living at $250 a month, I would say the locals' cost of living here, when people move to a foreign country to live, called expats. A lot of expats end up moving to a foreign country and they may have various reasons for spending more money than is really necessary. One reason may be that they have a love interest. Maybe they met somebody online. And also, they could have met somebody who doesn't want to really let them know that the cost of living here is very low. Instead, they want to live very nicely, so they misinform the foreigner that moves here about what things cost. Oh, no, sir, you cannot live there because that is not safe. Well, I would say that a lot of places here are safe, So anyone informing somebody that a place is not safe, I would question that, and I would say it may not be true. You can rent places here, very nice places, very inexpensively. My place is a beautiful, modern, 2-story townhouse. And the other thing that I save money on is I've acclimated to the weather, which is very important. When you first arrive in the Philippines, oh my goodness, if you're like me, you might be melting. So yeah, I melted when I first got here, and I would come here on vacation. In each of those vacations, I can tell you that I was suffering with the weather. But believe it or not, it didn't take me long, I think maybe a couple months after I moved here, to start acclimating. And the weather did not bother me. And I think part of the reason that I acclimated so quickly was that I was not in air conditioning whatsoever. If you're always in air conditioning, how are you going to acclimate, right? So I would recommend that if you're going to come here and you want to save money, live like the locals. Don't use air conditioning. Use fans. So on this website, it says that one person on average pays about $282 per month to live here. Now, I don't know what area they're talking about for that kind of price because I've never seen that price myself as a single person renting. I've never paid over $100 per month for rent. In fact, I've paid as little as $40 per month for rent. And so I don't know where they're getting that. And then my current rent is $70 per month. And these are averages. I think it's $69 and some change. So I just rounded up to $70. So if you watch the other videos, you're going to see the exact change. And then let's look at food cost. They are saying on this website that the average food cost is $241 per month. For me, I am only paying $99 per month. Now realize that people eat differently, right? Maybe you are a vegetarian and you want to go buy all fresh vegetables. That's fine. If you go out into the city here, you will find lots of places that are sort of set up like a buffet. The only difference is that you pay per serving for a single serving, okay? Now the reason why that I live so inexpensively here, I think, but maybe I could do it cheaper if I bought groceries, is because I don't buy groceries except for oatmeal and a few other things, but I go out to eat all the time. So I get takeout, so I go to those buffets that I was telling you about, and I order there. So sometimes I order just a couple things and it's very cheap, okay? Now, whatever you do, it's going to be your own thing, but I'm just telling you, you don't have to worry about food prices unless you are a big eater, or if you absolutely want to eat Western food, then you're going to pay Western prices. Western food, Western prices. If you eat the local food, you buy from the local mom and pop shops, you're going to save a lot of money. I have a dog. For his food and his pill that kills all the bugs, he gets that once a month. That comes to $14 per month. My health care, like my vitamins and all of those things, comes to $8 per month. I'm a healthy 62-year-old, so I don't have any medical needs. And if I was to have a medical need, my doctors are in the United States, and I would just get on a plane and go home to get medical care. In fact, I did that back in 2022, had an operation, everything worked out fine, and I came back. Now, I still don't include that in my cost of living simply because I'm a veteran and my medical care is free. Haircut, $2 basically per month for that. Then we have Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi you buy here in small increments, and the total amount for 1 month is about $9. I go into that a lot more in my other videos. Tap water here that comes out of the sink, that is $4 per month, and that includes all the showers, the cleaning, whatever. So very, very cheap for water here. Laundry is done by hand here. It's very rare to see anyone using a washing machine. You just wash your clothes out by hand. I do it every single day. When I get the shower in the morning, I wash the clothes from the previous day. They've been soaking in water all night. wash them real quick, hang them up out to dry. They dry very fast, and bring them in and put them away. It's very simple. My electric bill normally for the month is about $14. That includes making coffee all day long, cooking my breakfast. Sometimes I have eggs in the morning or oatmeal, and running the fans pretty much 24/7. Drinking water comes in large containers. All the drinking water I need for the whole month costs me only $5. I go through 4 large containers in about 7 days. Then personal care, that would be like toothpaste and things like that, $2 per month. Pest control, that would be like having a nice big can of insecticide and spraying whatever you need to spray. If you spray around your doors, windows and things like that, you will find that you won't get ants in your house. I every once in a while get this little itchy critter that you can't see. He's kind of brought in on the shoes and stuff. Rarely, but sometimes he comes, and what I do is I take the dog outside and then I spray the entire house, and then it's fine. We don't have any problem after that. So for pest control, I would say $2 per month, but may even be less than that. And let's talk about transportation. Now, of course, if you want to travel all over the Philippines, that's your choice. That's not necessary. That's not a cost of living. That would be your pleasure money, right? So that's additional. For me, I've never needed to do that. I did live in the barangay for a while, and even then, I maybe went to the city once or twice a week, and it was very, very inexpensive. I would say not more than $1 to go there and back. So very inexpensive. And also we have these tricycles. So you can see it's like a motorcycle with a sidecar. These are everywhere here in the Philippines. Very inexpensive to ride those. You share those with other people. Believe it or not, even though it looks so small, people will ride on the back of the motorcycle, wherever they can fit on the tricycle. And that's what keeps the cost down. In the city that I was living in, so good, down in southern Leyte, I could get across town with about 10 pesos. So I'm not sure how much that equals in change, but I think maybe about 15 cents US. So you can see it's not even really a consideration when it comes to your cost of living because it's so cheap. And the jeepneys that you get on those and you ride across town, those are even cheaper. And then we also have the bicycle taxi cabs. I never ride those. I have no idea how much they cost, but if that's your thing, we do have those available as well. Now, as for my total cost of living, my cost of living would have been $242 for the month, but with my dog, it cost me $257 for the month. So you can see, generally speaking, $250 a month. Now watch my other videos if you want to know more about all of the cost of living. I'm trying to think of anything else I should tell you about moving here to the Philippines. If you have any questions, please drop them down below. Be happy to do another video to answer questions. When you go to people's homes here in the Philippines, the shoes come off, okay? One thing you want to do when you move to a foreign country is not hang out with all the expats. That's really not a great thing to do. You want to get to know your new neighbors. You know, your new neighbors are all foreigners, but you also need to realize that not everybody's going to be great to get to know. That's the same as in your own country. You have to pick and choose. And if you feel that somebody isn't worthy to get to know, then don't get to know them. You know, get to know the people. There's millions of people here. So choose wisely. Get to know really good people. If people start asking you for money, you know that that's not a good thing. If they ask you for a loan, know that that's not a loan they're really asking for. It's a gift. So if you loan them money, don't expect it to be returned. That is not the way things go here. The other thing that I highly recommend is that you don't live above the locals. Why would you want to come here, rent an expensive condo, and look down on your neighbors? That's not the way to live here. Because why would you move to a country to look down on your neighbors? It's just not cool. So I would say if you're going to come here, live in the neighborhoods with the locals, and you're going to save a lot of money. And the other thing is you're not going to attract bad people and not go around flashing your money, spending it, and everyone's seeing you spend it. Then you're not going to attract bad people, okay? You're still going to run into bad people every once in a while, and you're going to just have to deal with that. If you don't know somebody, you shouldn't be going and partying with them and losing your senses, right? If you have issues with alcohol, this probably wouldn't be the place to come. I tell everybody I don't drink. But to be honest with you, if I'm having a nice dinner at an Italian restaurant, I would love to have a nice glass of red wine. But here I tell everyone I don't drink. It keeps me safe. Now, one thing that makes it very easy to live here is that I know for Americans, you're allowed to stay here for 3 years. Then you have to renew your visa, of course. You have to keep a really clean nose. Don't get yourself in trouble, because if you get yourself in trouble, they won't let you stay here. Just stay out of trouble. Don't get in any fights with anyone. Don't make any enemies. Be on your best behavior. Be like a guest. Don't be like a local citizen, okay? Very important. And you can stay here forever. I've been here for 7 years. I find it to be a lot easier if you locate near an immigration office. The thing is that when you get a new president, immigration laws can change. I know they're changing now. And so things get a little funny. And you might have to go and renew your visa every 2 months. So I would say try to locate near enough to an immigration office so that renewing your visa is not a problem. Now, I did figure that immigration cost into my cost of living. I didn't talk about that breakdown here in this video, but if you want that, watch the video about my $250 cost of living, and I break it down in there so you can see what I'm paying. Once a year, there is like an additional 3,000 peso. That's maybe $55 US for an identification card that they require you to have here in the Philippines. So that's additional once a year payment that you have to come up with. The other thing that is really interesting here is that if you go to the grocery store and you buy vegetables, you may be getting old vegetables, because most people don't buy their vegetables at grocery stores here. They buy them at the mom and pop shops. So you want to go to the mom and pop shops to buy your fresh vegetables. I would say the same thing goes for fresh eggs. A lot of the food here comes from the farm, and it's prepared in the morning, sold during the day. So keep that in mind. That's one reason why you want to buy from the mom and pops. I'm very glad I moved here. It did take a while to adjust to all of the differences, but I am fully adjusted now. A lot of people ask about the roosters, and we don't have them here in the city, but I did live in the countryside and I got used to them. I would say the thing that bothered me the most in the countryside is if I moved near a karaoke bar, and yes, they do have those in the countryside, or near a barking dog that barks nonstop all day. Those are things you really want to watch out for and make sure you don't move next to. I would suggest do not become permanent anywhere in any foreign country. You always want to be able to move if and when you need to. A lot of people move to a foreign country and they'll buy real estate. I would say don't do that, because a lot of foreign countries are not like the West, where if you put your house up for sale, it's sold in a month. No, you just rent and keep yourself mobile, able to move. If somebody opens a karaoke bar next door, which did happen to a friend of mine, you can move. If you own the place, now you got a problem. Be flexible. I've moved here in the Philippines in the 7 years I've been here, probably about 7 times. So, and for each time, sometimes I had really good reasons that I wanted to move. Okay? So you definitely want to be flexible, and that's part of your freedom. You're going to actually learn a lot of that if you watch my video, Rich Filipino, Poor Americano. Okay? In America, on the money that I have, I would be poor. But here in the Philippines, I'm rich. Isn't that cool? So, and that's because, to be honest with you, the United States is overpriced. I get the same things here and I get it really, really cheap, right? I would say my cost of living is 10 times cheaper than the United States, which means I could live here in the Philippines for 10 months what it would cost me to live in the US for 1 month. The thing you have to realize though, when you move to a place like the Philippines, you're gonna have to get used to the weather. The people are gonna be different. You're gonna have to be able to figure out who's good and bad. Like I said, avoid anyone who's trying to get your money. Get away from them and go find friends who already have money. And then the other thing that I think is a misunderstanding is people think that Filipinos are poor. You know, only about 20% of the Filipinos are poor. So if you are dating a poor Filipina, well, that's not something I would do. I would come here and meet people who are actually not online because they're not desperately looking for a sugar daddy, right? Come here, meet high quality people. Don't meet them online before you get here. Sound advice, and you will not only hear that from a foreigner living here, but you'll hear that from locals. The Filipinos will tell you the same thing. All right, I'm out of here. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.